All right, it says we're live. I believe we are live, and welcome to Raiderland Rewind right here in the Arctic Air Studios following Texas Tech's 49-28 victory over the University of Houston. We'll get your thoughts. We'll recap it with you, find out what you liked, what impressed you the most, and just kind of go from there. You guys know what to do. The early arrivals, you let us know the audio is good, the video is good. Give us the thumbs up, give us the hearts, and all that good stuff. And, allow a few folks to get in before we get on down the road. Those of you who are joining us on Twitter or X or whatever we're calling it these days, and on YouTube Live, we have you guys do one thing, and that's join us on the United Supermarkets text line. Hey, the game's early over enough. You can continue tailgating if you're running out of supplies or just laying in for Sunday in the NFL. Hit your local United Supermarkets in Market Street. Brad's in there. Alan's in there. James giving us the thumbs up. We get you guys in as well. And again, on Twitter X and on YouTube Live, be sure and utilize the United Supermarkets text line. Otherwise, we won't see your comments. 806-772-0197 here in the Arctic Air Studios, brought to you by and powered by Thacker Jewelry. It's Raiderland Rewind. Looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say. The difference a week can make as the Texas Tech run game on full display today. The defense pitches a shutout in the second half. And special teams absolutely setting a huge tone. Let's get it going. In 3, in 2. Good evening, West Texans, all you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt, theraiderland.com. That's the website. You start your day there every day. Question of the day. We give you Raiderland hot links every morning. Cool stuff from around the net. We'll be there in the morning with 5 things we know on a Sunday, our regular Sunday column. It's theraiderland.com. Coming to you from the Arctic Air Studios. If your area is a little too Arctic here in the coming weeks and months, you know what to do. Call the Bear. It felt like today, around halftime, there was a shift. It was like around halftime, the winds kind of moved around a little, and it said, okay, we may just have some fall for you guys. And it felt that way as the day went on. We're due some rain showers starting in the western portion of the South Plains, maybe tonight, certainly tomorrow and into next week. I just had a good feel today, and certainly Texas Tech making you feel good with the 49-28 victory. We'll get your thoughts, what you liked, what impressed you the most, anything and everything. That is some brutal product placement. Teresa watching, Alan watching. Dana always has a good half against Tech, and then it falls apart. Now 11 of the last 12, Tech has beaten Houston, and Dana only wins against Tech coming with West Virginia. Happy we won for sure, says Teresa. Special teams, though, proud. Should be proud. Huge moments in the game when special teams comes up and gets points on the board at a time when, in that first quarter, that first half was just nuts. There are 21 points on the board before Tech has the ball, has run an offensive play. Fairly quick 75-yard drive. Houston return the kickoff touchdown. They go score again. It's 14-7. And finally, we go, oh, good. Baron Morton, healthy enough. He can play. And then the offense gets going. And it's more of a baseball thing. They say if you go to the ballpark every day, you'll see something different. And it kind of felt that way watching this game in the first half. Fungi, yes. Fungi sightings everywhere. Touchdown reception, blocked punt, and he returns it in for the touchdown. And I didn't have a chance to visit with Don Williams about this, or Matt Dowdy or anybody with media relations. I can't think of anybody in the last 35, 40 years that pulled that little daily double. Receiving touchdown and block punt touchdown score. Now, Wes Welker had punt returns and receptions. Tyrone Thurman, punt returns, receptions. I don't remember if Vincent Meeks recorded another touchdown the night he took it back against New Mexico for 100 yards. Speaking of Mike Leach Tribute Day, what a game. What a Mike Leachian style game, right? I thought for a while we were taking this thing a little bit far. But yeah, Fungi, huge play. Special teams huge when you had to have it. Jared, special teams made the difference. Rarely do special teams get teams plays or what they can do, swing momentum drastically. I think I get the gist of what we're saying there. But you had to have it because you weren't getting stops in the first half. You finally get a stop on a doink field goal, and that was big. That was big for Texas Tech. You had won the toss, you had deferred, you knew you were going to get the ball back. You're like, crap, Morton, you're scoring too quick here. As they went in for that score before the half. And sure enough, Donovan Smith, man, he put up some numbers today. Didn't get the win, put up some really good numbers. And I thought Donovan Smith played pretty darn well. Already 30 minutes in, Iowa State trailing Oklahoma 14-7, it is pointed out here. Proud of Morton, nice celebration for the Hall of Fame inductees. Coach Alicia's family, such class. Yeah, good people. Yeah, the Cliff Kingsbury special. All you had to do was be in town for like 12 hours yesterday. Oh my gosh, what are we doing? Here we go again. First one to 600 yards wins, maybe. But then we get to the second half, and things changed with the defense. Very few, if any, yellow flag-looking things on the field today. 2 penalties called, 1 accepted. The false start on, what was it, Bradley, I think, in the first quarter. Thank you, yeah, first quarter. And not again until you take the delay game on the punt late, and you take the delay game on the McPunt. They declined that. Those were the only 2 penalties today. So a team that had been bedeviled by penalties played well. I did not see the Baylor ending. I did see a replay of the 4th down conversion that UCF had late. Baylor, for those who don't know, just recorded their biggest comeback in program history, 26 fourth quarter points to win 36-35. James says the discipline of the team was much better. I would agree. You guys who are with us on Twitter and on YouTube Live, you got to use the United Supermarkets text line so we can hear what you're thinking today. 806-772-0197. Otherwise, we're multi-platform streaming, third-party start, all this stuff that I don't even know what I'm saying. I truly don't know what I'm talking about when I talk about that. They told me, though, you got to use the text line or you're not going to be able to see it. So 806-772-0197. By the way, at United tomorrow, look for it. The ad specials in the meat section. Look for it. Good stuff. Sure was a great game. Let's hope this gives us momentum for the next few weeks. You're going to need it going down to Baylor because you don't know how to win on the road yet. Should we always just be balanced and run it this much every game? Yeah. Yes, Albert. Yes. 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 Yeah, winning calms fickle fans' comments. Are you talking about Alan Corbin? Yes. If Texas Tech had committed to this game plan, you might be 3-1. You might be 3-1. You know which game you might have lost? You might have lost the Wyoming game anyways. You might have beat Oregon with this game plan. Biggest adjustments made by the defense in the second half. I'll tell you what they did. I'll tell you exactly what they did. All right? They tackled. That's it. They tackled. Now, that's a little bit simplistic. I thought their rush lanes were better in the second half, just a little more disciplined on the rush lanes, and that's huge against a guy. By the way, everything I outlined yesterday on how to beat Donovan Smith, they really didn't do, but it ended up working out anyways. So let's go back to the first half and some of the first drives as we go back to the hand. Missed tackles, rush lanes. That's what I've got written down right there. You got a missed tackle right there on the third play on 3rd and 3. Jenkins going left. You get a missed sack on 2nd and 6 when he hits Golden. This is all on the first drive. You've got about 3 plays that I highlighted that you're just not making plays. Again, missed tackle, 1st and 10, Tech 41 in the second drive before they hit Brown for the touchdown pass. You get the idea. Yes, tackling helps defense. Pleasantly surprised to admit. Not going to grab today. The short pass game. Hold on. Was new this week. Hadn't seen much of that. Wasn't new. It was just utilized. It's been there. Tackling was terrible in the first half. Yes, it was. Joe McGuire mentioned it in post game that so many missed tackles. Let's go back to the rush lanes a little bit. Tech's had problems with that this year about getting penetration but not getting home. And the offensive linemen have kind of figured it out, particularly on some of the rush-in stuff. Let the guy take his inertia above and beyond the quarterback. And Texas Tech was guilty of that again, I thought. Hold on, got an itchy nose. In the first half for sure. And then you just didn't tackle when you had opportunities. There's nothing worse than an itchy nose. Wes Kitley needs to avoid changing clothes this week. I'll tell him, but it's going to be awkward. Baseball superstitions work for football. Yeah, I know, Zach. But you go back, the short routes. We can discuss this, and we get you on the United Supermarkets text line, 806-772-0197. What the heck is going on with my nose? Golly. Where were we? We were talking about defense. We were talking about short routes. We were doing everything. Okay. Let's go back a little bit to the offense in the first half and Baron Morton versus Tyler Shuck. Baron Morton made about 3 or 4 passes in the first half, particularly some little, whatever you want to call them, bubble screen, wide receiver screen. Basically, you've got 2 wideouts. One guy's got to get a block. The other guy's got to catch it and get upfield. Tyler Shuck really can't throw that pass. He can't throw it with the authority and with the zip needed to make it work from the college hash marks. He can't do it. He's accurate, but that was the type of pass that they jumped a route on. It was Baylor last year that jumped a route on pick 6. But even when he completes it, and this is something that we'd noticed as the year had gone on, even if he completed those passes, it was no gain because the ball just didn't get there quick enough. We're talking a half second. We're talking the difference between a second and a half second on this play working and not working. And it's predicated on a couple of different things. The quarterback must get the ball out quickly. He must have a quick release, and it's got to get there in a hurry. That's not Shuck's strong suit necessarily. And then the receiver has to be able to catch it in a position to make a quick football move and avoid usually one guy. That play worked today, and it worked because Baron Morton can make a lot of throws that Shuck can't. Joey McGuire credited Baron Morton today with also getting them in the plays they needed to be in. We talk about the latitude the quarterback has to change the plays, that he put them into some run plays, thankfully. I don't think I saw a single what looked like might have been a quarterback draw at all today. Although, what are you doing, Baron, late in the first half, blocking up on 3rd down at the goal line? Stop that. Stop that. I thought Dingle was out of place a few times. First of game, freshman mistake. They might have had some run fits that were a little loose at different times. But by and large, they were there to make plays in the first half. This defense didn't. They made plays and pitched a shutout in the second half. There were some drops that weren't his fault, too. Are you talking about Shuck or are you talking about Morton? Shuck's had some drops, certainly, but a lot of them were not so good. Receivers, for the most part, caught the ball today. So, yeah, the defensive adjustments really were tackling, you know. The first half, a live version of anything you can do, I can do better. I mean, we're sitting there, we're watching a Mike Leach tribute show in the first half, and it was glorious. It was great. And special teams absolutely saved your bacon. I don't know what the record is or supposed to be if you get 14 points off special teams, but dadgummit, you're probably going to win, and today you did. And it gave the defense time to figure it out. The offense was ready, set on go from the beginning on this thing. No problems with the offense. I would say I won't be surprised if Monday we're talking about an offensive line that graded out better than at any time this year, you know. Let's see. Just talking about this game, mainly in the first half and the early third. There were a couple of drops. Not many. Not like what we've seen. We talked about winning the middle 8. Last 4 minutes of the first half, first 4 minutes of the second. That was critical. Even the little doink field goal was big. You're rolling with momentum. You really wanted to keep them out of the end zone and certainly out from scoring there, and you're able to do that. And I'll tell you one thing I wrote down as well today. Texas Tech was a better conditioned football team on a day that wasn't really hot, on a day that wasn't by any stretch brutally hot. The humidity was like 40%, which was a little crazy. But Texas Tech was a better conditioned football team. They looked a lot better as the day went on than Houston did conditioning-wise. Which you think, being in the heat and humidity of Houston, but I guess What nobody talked about this week was the 3,300-foot change in elevation that Houston has to face when they come up here. I mean, we heard about it all Wyoming game, 3,300 feet difference in elevation. Houston only traveled to Rice as a road game. I'm telling you what, best officiated game I've seen across all of college football this year. I agree with you. They didn't make their presence known that much. And certainly through Texas Tech, you felt like you didn't do a whole lot. So those are some of the biggest takeaways I've got from me. You guys fire away. Questions, comments, thoughts, general football today. When I'm locked in on Texas Tech, I'm not watching a whole lot of the other stuff, aware of what's going on, but not really watching it because I'm trying to do a good job for you guys regarding Texas Tech. But Texas obviously pulling away as the day went on. Kansas got it to 13-7, I believe, and then it was all Texas from that. First time since 2005 that they are 5-0 to start the season. Baylor obviously comes back and win, and Iowa State and Oklahoma are underway in an SEC Big 12 matchup that goes back decades. The elevation effect, Houston. Yeah, I agree. Talk about it. More people need to talk about it. All right. Let's see. We'll see what the body count looks like injury-wise for Tech. Rabbit got knocked out fairly early on. Baskerville did a nice job today, I thought, in coming in and making some plays. And you had some guys in the second half really step up on that. So that was pretty good. And then just some other news and notes. I'm sure most of you are already aware of it. First time since DeAndre Washington in 15, running back to go over 100 yards 3 straight games. Congratulations, Taj Brooks, career 2,000. And it is the first time, you guys know this one? First time to have 2 running backs go over 100 yards rushing in the same game since when? Let's see who was paying attention today. Hello, Fernando. You look marvelous. Not 2013. Is Brooks starting to get on some NFL boards? I would think so. Not since the 80s. Not since 2005. First time to have 2 players over 100 yards. Conference game. I should say that. I believe this note is Big 12 game only. So I apologize in advance. By the way, thanks for joining us on Raiderland Rewind, brought to you by Thacker Jewelry. Every love story begins right there at the West Texas Original. Been telling you this week, they've got Citizens watches there. If you're a watch guy, it's need to put that on your wife's radar, your girlfriend's radar for Christmas. Citizens watch. You can go in, kind of check it out, do a little wish list. Cameron Vasquez faster than I thought. He's lightning fast. Absolutely fast. That's the big trump card that he's got to play. Big spade card that he's got. He's just been beat up. I think he's had a shoulder most recently, but he showed you on the 41-yarder, take it to the house. He got run down, horse collar there. Guy had an angle on him. This is the first time since 1998 that you had 2 Texas Tech Red Raiders rush for over 100 yards in a conference game. That would, of course, be little Ricky Williams. Now that I've given you the year, does anyone want to guess who the other Red Raider was that day or night? Because I'm not sure whether it was a day game or a night game. To go over 100 yards. 1998 is the year we're looking for. Here as we recap the Mike Leach tribute game for you. Tech wins 49-28. Our thoughts, our recap, your comments, questions, anything and everything that's on your mind. We'll hang out as long as the conversation's good. Although it's like West Texas comfort food night for me. My wife has got some chicken. We got some mashed potatoes, mac and cheese going. Oh yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good by the time we get to that. But I'm not running away from you guys. We'll talk about anything and everything that you liked. Everything else, not shod. What was Shad's first year? 99? I think he was a freshman in 99. The pride of Andrews, Texas? Not Ricky Hunter. Hey, Val, glad you're watching. You guys aren't going to get it. Nobody's going to get it. You're not going to get the answer. Rob? Peters. Texas Tech quarterback Rob Peters, over 100 yards that day, along with Ricky Williams in 1998. There you go. You can give your rundown on Baron Morton today. Well, I just said it. It's too late, Albert. Give us your thoughts on how Morton played today. Run game, offense, defense, anything in between. And I really should give Tim DeRuyter more credit than just saying, "Oh, they just tackled better." That's pretty easily. The show needs more Rob Peters references. That's what Don Williams said. More Rob Peters mentions. We just won't talk about going to Austin in 1999. The 98 Texas game was much more fun. A whole lot more fun than that one. Off the United Supermarkets text line, 806-772-0197. Morton really played within his style, didn't push too much after getting 0 reps this week. Kudos to him. He did not get 0 reps. He did get reps. I don't know where you're getting that he got 0 reps. He did get reps. Strong took reps with the first team this week, though, in preparation. Yeah, he did practice with the first team. He got some reps. Uniforms were on point today. Nah, hate the black pants. Sorry. The red over black, I can't stand it. I feel like I'm watching Slayton High School. Red over white, white over black. I tell you, I even like the all black better than I like the red over black. I don't like that at all. Let's see. A few more catches rather than drops. Morton has a very good game. He had a really good game. I mean, very productive, I thought, and particularly early on in the first half when he had to match Donovan Smith. Did you think we'd be talking about that? When he had to match Donovan Smith pass for pass, he was right there. I would go back and do the quarter-by-quarter breakdown stats, but that is unavailable right now on the internet. So we'll just have to wait a little bit. Maybe later on tonight, tomorrow, we'll be able to look at that. But first quarter, like you were out there in the first quarter, it was the same kind of outcome as far as not a lot of plays being run, but for a different reason than from West Virginia last week. 21-10 Oklahoma now over Iowa State. Michael is watching. Watching you, Michael. Recapping a 49-28 Texas Tech win over Houston. So now the Wolves will be back down in Houston on Dana Holgorsen. Kept them at bay with that win over a really bad Sam Houston State team last week. And now we'll see kind of what this road looks like the rest of the way for Houston. Improved quite a bit from last year. His interceptions are way down from last year. He had 3 in the Houston game last year for Tech alone. Interceptions are way down. I think Jenkins obviously is a really nice running back that they've got. You can see that they've got some defensive problems, obviously. But I thought Smith looked bigger. And if he can improve his accuracy, and that's really hard to do, if he could improve his accuracy, and I don't know I can't give you a magic number. It's got to get better. But he could go to the NFL as a career backup and always be on a team that has a mobile and or a running quarterback that they want the backup to mirror the starter. That he could absolutely, I think, have that kind of career in the NFL. He's incredibly smart. He picks up offenses, really, really good on all of that. He just has to hit receivers. And he did in the first half. He threw some great balls there in the first half. A little bit better on the move too, yeah. But if he can get his accuracy up there, the guy can be in the league for a while. Game sure got off to an exciting start. Yes, it did, Wendy. Well, first off, they came out to red smoke. Did we not notice that? And Centennial Champion, or whatever the horse's name, did a nice little trot. It's about as good as it's going to get, by the way, folks. I think with that horse, there's going to be a trotter, and that's what you're going to get. Did the missed field goal by Houston derail them mentally? I don't think they were derailed. I think it just stalled them out. I mean, you were playing on house money, moving down there with about a minute left and having any sort of shot at the field goal. Then, for whatever reason, they decided we're going to review a play that we really don't need to review. That allowed them to settle down in that moment, get on the ball, clock it, I thought there should have been 2 seconds off on that play, but one. Fire the clock operator for Tech. I don't think it derailed them mentally. I think it was bigger what Texas Tech was able to do, come out there at the beginning of the third, and then as you get a couple of stops and some 3 and outs. I thought that was bigger than anything. That what you did, and again, win the middle 8, and I thought that was huge. Off the United Supermarkets text line, Dogovan Smith looked good, more talent than Shuck or Morton. Interesting. I've got some people that would disagree with you that out of NFL front offices, but as I was just saying, he's got a chance if he can improve his accuracy. And that's why he's down at Houston, is that I think the Texas Tech coaches know, no, I don't think they know. I know they told him that to do what they want to do with the Zach Kittley offense, that the 2 choices they wanted to utilize consistently were going to be Shuck and or Morton. That they would have packages for him, that there were things, and he wanted to compete for a starting job. He wanted to be a starting quarterback, and by gosh, he's getting to do it in Houston, and happy for him because again, he's just a great guy. He saves puppies out of buildings that aren't even on fire yet. He brings blankets to people who aren't even homeless yet. Think about that. Think about that for a minute. Let that sink in, what he's able to do. See anything else today as we go through? We can expand Big 12, Baylor next week, whatever else may or may not be on your mind. Hopefully everybody's tailgating was successful today. I did not avail myself. Did anybody go check out Vanilla Ice for like the 3rd time in whatever amount of time? He may have a condo now in Lubbock. It seems like Robbie Van Winkle is here quite a bit. And it was a late arriving crowd. If you go back and look on Twitter or our Facebook page, I took a shot from the press box about 15 minutes before kickoff, maybe. The saddle tramps were doing the circle, so that's when that shot is taken. And there were a lot of empty seats. It was late filling up. Now, I don't know what the actual butts in seats number is, but it filled out pretty good. Vanilla Ice seems to be a good luck charm. Do we know? Do we have a record on that? I don't know. Steven's watching. Jared, you can tell the character of Donovan by how many Tech players wanted to say hello to him after the game with genuine smiles. Easier to smile when you win. But yeah, off the United Supermarkets text line, why can't Centennial Champion run? The Wyoming horse ran, and the rider carried a Wyoming flag. I don't want to make him mad, but I think they've got the wrong horse out there. Do I know that horse? Well, no. Have I ridden that horse? No. But I've talked to some horse people, and they don't think that horse should be out there. You add in the fact that they won't let the horse run up the west side, down the east side anymore because there are too many jack wagons down on the field pregame, and they can't seem to tell them, get out of the way, here comes the horse. So back when I was in school, and then even afterwards for several years into the early 90s, the Air Force ROTC specifically literally kind of manned a rope line pregame, and when Tech was coming out, hey, you guys want to get out of the way? There's a horse coming. And you know what most people did? They got the hell out of the way. You know why? Because there was a horse coming. Now they've limited it to just running down the middle of the field. And again, I don't trust the demeanor of this horse. That's about the best it can get right now is a little trot down the middle of the field. The amount of people allowed on the field, non-team related, is getting out of hand. Agreed. Be more concerned with Ralphie running down the field than the Masked Rider. Yeah, they run that Buffalo. Them WT. That's a job I would not want. I mean, there's a long list of jobs I wouldn't want. And, hey, we've got a Buffalo, and we want you to run with it. No Tatanka. No running with Tatanka. Masked Rider can't be riding a trotter. That's what we've got right now. For better or for worse, the insurance slappies and all the bean counters are so afraid about lawsuits that they just until something like that changes, they're never going to be able to do it. I'm going to pass on the Buffalo gig as well. Good call. I'm trying to think of anything we might have missed, today. I'll go back again and touch on Cameron Valdez. Great to see him healthy enough to have that kind of impact that you don't have to use Taj Brooks 30 times, 25 times, that you feel really good about that. And if you can keep both of those guys healthy the rest of the way, you put down some really good stuff for Baylor. And you didn't see it. I think you'll see it more in the coming weeks, Baylor and then K-State. I think you can see some lethal play action now out of this off this run game. Not that you're gonna run Morton, and you've got to take that wrinkle out. The zone read, the RPO type thing. You kind of that range you can't run him, but you can run some great play action, and you can kill college defensive backs with play action. There was a time. It was in the first quarter. I don't know if it was before the first touchdown pass or not, but you had Houston rolled up and they had a single high safety, and you had basically free inside release. And I'm sitting there thinking, if you run any sort of play action, I believe it was Tharp that was split out just enough to get the seam. And I guess they didn't have to go back to it, but I'm sitting there up in the press box going, oh my gosh, that is so there. It's a trips package either side. They ran it later on to the right. And you got to run it ace. You got to run it with a back in the backfield. Please, every play, back in the backfield, no empty backfield. And you're going to see that hit, I think, pretty good. That teams are loath at the college level and a lot of levels to play inside leverage. And if you give me a single high safety look and he's got to respect a little bit of run because I've spread out the outside linebacker, please give me that. But it only works if you run the football. It only works if you run the football early and often and establish it. Yeah. Martinez looking good there at the end. So I really like that. I want to see that wrinkle come in as we go through. Didn't know Tech would run the tush push. First off, not the tush push. It's the tuchus pushes. It's the tuchus pushes. And I didn't like that. Again, you've got a banged up quarterback. Let's jam him into a bunch of big people with other big people behind him running into and stop. Don't do that. I don't know. He's either hurt or he's not. He's either good enough to play or he's not. Well, crap, no. We don't have to do that. And again, him throwing the block there on third down at the goal line late in the first half. Stop that too. Run game always opens up the passing game. Always has, always will. Product placement. Brought to you by United Supermarkets. The United Supermarkets text line 806-772-0197. Tasty. Missing anything? No, I feel like missing something. We've hit on everything. Brooks in the running game, special teams, huge. By the way, on the kickoff return, don't lie. Do not lie. How many of you in real time are watching McCray take it out from about 3 yards deep and then getting jammed up at the 15 going, what are we doing here? No, don't take it out. Don't bring it out. I'm way up high, so I can see the coverage, and you're going, this is not going to be good. No. It was like a basketball coach when the ball goes into the deep corner, and there's, 30 seconds on the shot clock. It's early on in the possession, and the coach is screaming, no, and the kid pulls up, nails the three, and you're going, good shot. By the time he gets to midfield, I'm like going, good decision. But that was one that you probably, looking back, go, you shouldn't have brought it out. Did they know they can protect the quarterback by not calling plays that put him in a sticky situation? Yeah. Glad the victory bells will be ringing for a good conference win. Amen. Albert was with me on that. Yeah, I mean that's one you shouldn't even bring out, and boom, off you go. Nice. Why not? And I'm still probably to that point. And then something like this happens, and it really turns the tide and helps you win a game. I'm like always fair catch it. Just never even try to bring a kickoff back. Get it at the 25 and go. You know, take the 25 because so few returns anyways end up beyond the 25. And then you pull some crap like that on me, and I got to go. Yeah, that totally helps you win a game. Dana seemed to be more chill, at least on the TV broadcast. I certainly wasn't watching him from the press box. It didn't seem like he had any crazy moments. You know, 2-3 feels a lot better than 1-4. Yes. And now, and this is what we were saying after the Oregon game. You know, now you look at the schedule, you go, you can maybe string some things together. K-State's going to be tough. Not going to lie on that one. BYU, who the hell knows, right? Oh, yeah. It kept the crowd in it. Everything on that kickoff return. The windows were predominantly shut in the press box. I need those who were there today. The crowd just didn't seem. The crowd didn't seem that loud. You know, the crowd didn't seem that loud, and maybe that's being unfair because again, the worst place to watch a game and have any feel for what's going on is in the press box. You might as well sit in your closet by yourself watching on your cell phone. That's what it feels like to me being in the press box. I hate it. So for you guys who are out there in the crowd, you probably have a much better feel on what that crowd was like today. It filled out nicely. Off the United Supermarkets text line, them bats is smart. They got radar. Thank you, David Letterman. Kansas State won't be hard if we start by having a tribute to Dwayne Slay and keep that attitude in mind when tackling. Alan Everidge, come on down, Alan. Meet Dwayne Slay. Didn't come across as loud on TV either. Felt the same way watching. And, again, the nature of the first half was just really weird. There are 21 points on the scoreboard, and Baron Morton hasn't taken a snap yet. You've had one drive, and there are 35 points on the board at that point, and you've touched the ball one time. Yell more at Allen. That was just crazy. And again, if you told me some of the things pregame that, hey, Houston's going to score twice before you've run a snap. They're going to have two drives of 75 yards or whatever it was, 75 and 75, I think, before you snap the ball. I'm like, man, this is just not getting good. There you go. They were shouting Raider power and it didn't seem very loud. I don't know. But like I said, it wasn't like the crowd wasn't into it today. I'm not saying it was a bad crowd by any stretch of the imagination. It just didn't quite have that feel. Of course, it's really weird when you have a crowd like you had for Oregon, which felt like a conference high-level game right off the bat, right out of the gate there at Jones Stadium. Going band louder on TV with their current position in the stands in the south end zone. Interesting. I have a lot of people complaining about the TV broadcast today. Sorry, I saw the tire running down the sideline. Get rid of the tire. A lot of people complain about the TV broadcast today. Couldn't hear the announcers. When you could hear the announcers, they didn't sound prepared. I've got it DVR'd. I don't think I'm going to torture myself by going back and listening to it. I might go back and just watch a couple of key plays. Off the United Supermarkets text line, day games, most of the crowd is hungover. You ought to not be hungover by 2:30, really. A couple of things should have happened by 2:30. You're back right again. You're rehydrated. Two, you've powered through it and you're drunk again. You've just gone ahead and just hair of the dog, and you're getting there and you're going crazy, raising unshirted Cain. But yeah, you shouldn't. Now, if it was an 11 o'clock start, absolutely. Texas Tech students and players alike for years 11 o'clock. What do you mean? We don't even go to class before 11 o'clock. You want us to play football? No, we're not going to do that. It's dangerous. There should be a law, too. No football kickoff before noon local time. Kevin Culler Sr. on the 98 team. As we go back to 1998, once again. I really am. I want to get the tech note on players to record a receiving touchdown, block a kick, and return said block kick for touchdown in Texas Tech history. And we may already have that. I have not seen game notes out yet. I think they were having some problems computer-wise or otherwise today, so I haven't seen that. But I'm telling you, I can't think of a single player. Now, there have been special team score, receiving score, special team score, rush score, but blocked punt, return touchdown, and receiving touchdown in the same half, let alone same game. I don't know how many guys you have that for a year. I mean, what Fungi did is so rare. Did I see the picture from the UTEP game as they tried to play on a Friday night? Crowd did not understand the assignment. Yeah. First off, playing football in El Paso, dicey in general. Move it to a Friday night. What the hell are you thinking? You know? I hate it when colleges play on Friday night. And I get it. And, hey, there are some parts of the country where it's not that big a deal. Really. I mean, really. There are a lot of places, most places, where it's just not that big a deal. But even in El Paso, which still is in the state of Texas, according to my research, we have a top team working on that from theraiderland.com. What are you doing? It's not going to be very good. Now, what I see as well, a lot, I saw the statement during the game that Sonny Cumbie and Louisiana Tech are suspending indefinitely a player who stepped on a UTEP player. That must have been really egregious. My son would be kicked off of Louisiana Tech really quick. It's about damn time, Andy. We're about to wrap things up. We've been going for nearly 45 minutes, and Andy just finally wanders in. Andy, who said yesterday on the prediction show, which now my 38-34 doesn't seem kind of crazy, really, as far as high scoring. Just win, baby, I believe was his quote, so you got it. Saw the video. It was egregious. By the way, one of my cats knows how to say egregious in cat. When I close my office door, the cat will be out there screaming, "This is egregious. It's egregious." You don't believe me, it's true. Yep, Andy just went. Andy, are you still at a tailgate? Skillet over your shoulder looks familiar. Yeah. Very much so. Good call. Good call, by the way, on the text line, which, by the way, not just that. Hold on. All three of those pieces you might recognize. There you go. Always nice when family chimes in on the old United Supermarkets text line, 806-772-0197. And bonus, it still does the temperature correctly. That's Higginbotham and Bartlett Company out of Olton, Texas. For those who are wondering what that little thing is, it's a thermometer hanging up there. Yes, post-game. Yes, still at a tailgate. Post-game tailgates are just as fun as pre-game tailgates. Sometimes they're even better. And it's funny that you mentioned the post-game tailgate. So we go back to 2008. In the Texas game, right? I go back to the station to do work the post game show or something, and I get a call, or whatever. Hey, we're all still out here. Come back. Okay. Roll back out there, and there is this lone black Weber grill. This is on the west side parking lot. There's still people out there. Not a lot. It's pretty late. And I'm like, you know what? That Weber grill needs to go home. He needs to go home with us. And it lasted a long time. It hung in there for quite a while. Finally kind of fell apart a little bit. Free grill from the Texas Tech game in '08. Nebraska just turning into the movie Little Giants. They celebrate gaining a yard. How bad is that game right now? Was in Iraq in 2008 game. Surrounded by Texas fans. Glorious. And thank you for your service. Boy, Nebraska. I got nothing against Nebraska. I'm not a huge fan. But it is truly fascinating to watch the demise of that program since they left the Big 12, their old Big 8. That you can talk about A&M. A&M just traded leagues they were going to be not champions in. They were not going to be champions in the Big 12 for the most part. They were not going to be champions in the SEC. So they took a pay raise to go not be champions. But Nebraska literally traded the ability to be champions and play at a high level to go to the Big Ten and wander around in the wilderness. How many more years they got? Moses got sentenced to 40. How much more they got? It's fascinating to watch. Off the United Supermarkets text line, Ryan, you have a good voice. Have you ever thought about doing sports commentary? I'm looking into it. You might could make it. Did Brooks get banged up in the second half? I didn't hear anything post game. I think he's just maybe a little gassed. They had wanted to use Cameron Valdez and get him, and that's been the plan all year, is to utilize them the way they utilized them. There was a stretch there where Brooks' helmet kept coming off, much like it did at the end of the first half. You got to come out a play. So that was one instance when Valdez was in, but it sure looked like they were doing some drives where they wanted to feature Valdez and do that. The Rangers are up 3-0, top of the third, 2 outs, runners on the corners. What's the clinch scenario? Is this win today and clinch? 4-0, Josh Young has scored. Is this win and clinch today? I saw Evan Grant tweet out last night or this morning the crazy, strange things that would have to happen for them to miss the playoffs. So win today and clinch. Cool. NCAA 97 college football video game always picked Nebraska and ran the triple option. Darn right you did. Darn right you did that. You were good at it. The last time I played EA Sports, and by me play, like actually played, would have been right around the early 2000s. Here's to F. Scott Fitzgerald and his multi-TV awesome setup. And I could never figure out how to pass the damn ball, but luckily he had the version that had the really good Virginia Tech teams with Michael Vick at quarterback, so I could run, and that was it. And then when my son was old enough, he had Madden and different stuff. No chance. So one day, and I have it still in a box, I busted out the old Nintendo gaming system with Tecmo Bowl. Welcome to my world. He tried to turn the set off after I scored 3 times on him. He couldn't figure out how to use the controller. Only had 2 buttons and a plus sign for direction. I could win today. I guarantee you, put me up against anybody, I could win today playing Tecmo Bowl or RBI baseball on the Nintendo gaming system. You give me a shot on that, we can do it. All right, last chance. Get you guys in. Questions, comments, otherwise, we have enjoyed it. We'll post the replay at theraiderland.com later on this evening. We will have our column up in the morning, 5 things we know on a Sunday, and we hope that you guys enjoy that. It's always a little break from sports. We sometimes work a little bit in there, but little break. And then tomorrow night, YouTube only, YouTube channel only, the Sunday night cap. I want to do something for the people who subscribe to the YouTube channel and give them something a little bit different. So we'll recap the weekend, and I'll tell you about something that we are starting this coming week on Monday. So there you go. Bo Jackson or Christian Okoye. Bo Jackson. You know who was also an underrated team? The Washington Redskins. If you could get the Reds, I could win with the Redskins in that defense. One of the few defenses that had anything for Bo Jackson on Tecmo Bowl was the Washington Redskins. So, like, your friends always tried. We'd flip a coin. You get to choose your teams. I don't know if that's the way you guys did it, or who brought the beer. If you brought the beer, then you got to choose first. I was fine. Playing with Washington, and I could beat you with that. I didn't have to have Bo Jackson. Just made it a little bit easier. And then I could beat you with Cito Gaston in the late 80s, early 90s Toronto Blue Jays and RBI baseball. Could own you. All right, we got to say goodbye to our Twitter, X, and our YouTube people. And D. Wayne, if you're still watching, these comments come up late. That's why we tell you to use the United Supermarkets text line always on Twitter and on YouTube. Otherwise, we don't get to see them. So I apologize for not answering your question. But yes, Valdez looked fast on the TV run. You know why? Because he is really fast. All right. It says end stream. We got to do that. Let's end the stream for these people.